Japan, land of bright city lights, old temples, and yummy sushi. But deep down, there's a big problem brewing. Japan is running out of Japanese people. The number of babies being born has dropped super low, and the population is getting smaller faster than ever. This isn't just something to worry about in the future. It's happening right now, and the numbers are serious. Fewer babies are being born than at any time since the 1800s. The land of the rising sun is seeing its future dim. How did a powerful country end up here? It's a story about money worries, working too much, and changing ideas about life. Tonight, we're looking at the choices and pressures behind Japan's slow slide into a smaller population. Because sometimes the most interesting stories are about what's quietly disappearing. Let's talk about numbers. Numbers that paint a stark picture, a picture that's hard to ignore. Numbers that reveal a deep-seated challenge facing Japan, a challenge that demands immediate attention and innovative solutions. We're not just talking about minor fluctuations. We're delving into figures that could reshape the very fabric of Japanese society. The kind that make leaders lose sleep, the kind that trigger emergency meetings and urgent policy revisions. These aren't just abstract statistics, they represent real-world consequences, impacting everything from economic stability to social welfare. The weight of these numbers is heavy, pressing down on decision-makers as they grapple with the implications. In 2024, Japan had only 727,277 births, a figure that sends shivers down the spine of demographers and policymakers alike. Each birth represents a new beginning, a promise of the future, but this number is alarmingly low, signaling a potential crisis in the making, the lowest ever recorded, a historical low that underscores the severity of the situation. This isn't just a slight dip, it's a precipitous drop, a clear indication that something fundamental has shifted within Japanese society. Deaths? Over 1.5 million, a staggering number that dwarfs the number of births, creating a demographic imbalance of unprecedented proportions. This excess of deaths over births is not just a statistical anomaly, it's a sign of a society aging rapidly with fewer young people to support the growing elderly population. That's more than double the births. A stark contrast that highlights the demographic crisis facing Japan. The implications of this imbalance are far-reaching, affecting everything from the labor force to the healthcare system. The population shrank by almost 850,000 in just 1 year, a dramatic decline that underscores the urgency of the situation. This isn't just a gradual decrease. It's a rapid contraction, a sign that Japan is losing its population at an alarming rate. That's like a big city just vanishing. Imagine the impact of an entire metropolis disappearing in the blink of an eye. That's the scale of the population loss Japan is experiencing, a loss that threatens to reshape the country's landscape and economy. Every day, Japan loses over 2,300 people. A constant drain on the nation's population, a relentless decline that continues unabated. This daily loss is a stark reminder of the demographic challenges facing Japan, a challenge that requires immediate and sustained action. The birth rate? Just 1.20, a number that falls far short of what's needed to maintain a stable population. This low birth rate is a major driver of Japan's demographic decline, a trend that threatens the country's long-term viability, way below the 2.1 needed to keep the population steady. The replacement rate is the key to demographic stability, and Japan's rate is woefully inadequate. This shortfall means that each generation is smaller than the last, leading to a shrinking population and an aging society. Marriages have dropped below 500,000, a sign that fewer people are choosing to start families, further exacerbating the demographic crisis. This decline in marriages is linked to a variety of factors, including economic uncertainty and changing social norms. For the first time in 90 years, a historical low that underscores the magnitude of the problem. This decline in marriages is not just a recent phenomenon, it's a long-term trend that has been building for decades. The population chart is now like an upside-down tower, a visual representation of the demographic imbalance facing Japan, with a large elderly population and a small young population. This inverted pyramid is unsustainable, placing a heavy burden on the younger generation to support the growing number of retirees, wobbly on a tiny base of young people. The foundation of Japanese society is shrinking, threatening the stability of the entire structure. This lack of young people is not just a demographic issue, it's an economic and social issue as well. Prime Minister Kishida says this is the last chance to fix things, a stark warning from the nation's leader, acknowledging the urgency of the situation. The Prime Minister's words are a call to action, urging all sectors of society to work together to address the demographic crisis. But time is running out fast. The window of opportunity is closing, and decisive action is needed now to avert a demographic catastrophe. Every day that passes without meaningful change brings Japan closer to a point of no return. These aren't just facts. they're a countdown to a quieter, emptier future. A future where the vibrant energy of Japan is replaced by a sense of emptiness and decline. These numbers are not just abstract statistics. They represent the potential loss of a nation's identity and vitality. The clock is ticking, and the future of Japan hangs in the balance. The time for action is now, before it's too late to reverse the demographic decline and secure a prosperous future for generations to come. Why the baby slum? What's behind this dramatic decline in birth rates, not just in Japan, but in many developed nations? It's a question that has economists, sociologists, and policymakers scratching their heads. It's not one single factor, but a perfect storm of 4 big reasons, all swirling together to create this demographic challenge. Each element on its own presents a hurdle, but combined, they form a formidable barrier to parenthood. First, the economy. The state of financial affairs plays a crucial role in family planning. Young people have shaky jobs, often finding themselves in temporary or contract positions with limited security. They face low pay, stagnant wages that haven't kept pace with inflation, and super high living costs, especially in urban centers like Tokyo. The financial burden of raising a child in such an environment can seem insurmountable. Second, work culture. The demanding nature of employment in Japan. Brutal hours mean no time for dates, for building relationships, let alone raising kids. The expectation of long hours and constant availability leaves little room for personal life. Third, gender roles. The deeply ingrained societal expectations surrounding men and women. Women are still largely expected to quit work to be moms, sacrificing their careers and financial independence. It's a deal many don't want, as they seek to balance career aspirations with family life, a balance that's often difficult to achieve. Fourth, changing values, a shift in priorities and what people deem important in their lives. More young people are choosing to be independent, prioritizing personal fulfillment and self-discovery. Instead of getting married and having kids, they're focusing on their careers, hobbies, and personal growth. Surveys show many don't plan to marry at all, viewing it as an outdated institution that doesn't align with their modern values. It's not just about money or work. Those are significant factors, of course. It's a big shift in how people think about life, relationships, and their place in society. Hobbies, freedom, and doing what makes you happy, pursuing individual passions and interests, are winning over old traditions, the conventional path of marriage and family that was once considered the norm. Millions of quiet, personal choices, made by individuals seeking fulfillment and autonomy, have added up to a national emergency, a demographic crisis that threatens the future of the nation. Japan's young people are quietly saying no, not through protests or demonstrations, but through their life choices, to a system that doesn't fit them anymore, a system that demands sacrifice and conformity in a rapidly changing world. The government's answer? Throw money and robots at the problem. New groups, bigger child payments, and cash bonuses for births have all been tried. Local governments even help people find partners, using AI to match up single folks. There are even cartoon characters telling people to get married and have kids. And when humans won't fill the gap, robots step in, from helping old people to acting like baby dolls. But these fixes are like putting a small bandage on a big wound, not a real cure. Money can't fix bad work habits or unfair gender roles. AI matchmaking can't create time for relationships. Robots can't make babies. Until Japan fixes its deep-seated social ways, the problem will keep going. What does a country with no young people look like? Imagine a place where the vibrancy of youth is slowly fading, replaced by an aging population. What are the societal implications? What challenges arise when the younger generation dwindles? Rural Japan is becoming a bunch of empty towns. Once bustling with life, these communities are now facing unprecedented decline. The laughter of children is replaced by an eerie silence. Schools close because there are no students. The echoes of learning and youthful energy are now just memories. Desks sit empty, playgrounds are silent, and the heart of these communities slowly stops beating. In some villages, the youngest people are in their 60s. The traditional passing of knowledge and skills from one generation to the next is disrupted, leaving a void in the cultural fabric. Millions of empty homes, known as Akiya, are scattered across the countryside. These vacant houses stand as silent witnesses to a shrinking population, a stark reminder of a bygone era. Japan is now the world's oldest society, a demographic shift that presents both challenges and opportunities, with 1/3 of its people over 65. This unprecedented aging of the population is reshaping the nation's social, economic, and cultural landscape. The retirement and healthcare systems, already strained, are struggling under the strain. Resources are stretched thin, and innovative solutions are needed to address the growing needs of an aging population. Fewer workers mean more robots in stores, filling the labor gaps left by a shrinking workforce, on building sites and helping old people. Technology is stepping in to provide assistance and support to the elderly, enhancing their quality of life. The economy, culture, and even the army are feeling the pressure. Every facet of society is impacted by this demographic shift, requiring adaptation and innovation. Young people's culture fades as the focus shifts towards the needs and preferences of the elderly, replaced by a society made for and by the elderly. The values, priorities, and social structures are evolving to cater to an aging population. The future? What does it hold for Japan? A quieter, more organized Japan, run by older folks and helped by machines. A society where technology and tradition intertwine to create a sustainable and supportive environment for its aging citizens. It's not science fiction. This isn't some far-off dystopian vision. It's already happening. The seeds of this future are being sown today, shaping the reality of modern Japan. Not doing anything means a country slowly fading away. The time to act is now, to address the challenges and embrace the opportunities presented by this demographic shift, ensuring a vibrant and sustainable future for Japan. Japan isn't the only one, it's just the first. South Korea's birth rate is even lower, a world record 0.72. Seoul's rate, just 0.55. Populations there aren't just shrinking, they're disappearing. Across Europe, countries like Italy and Spain face similar drops. More deaths than births, aging towns, and fewer workers. Even China, after many years of its one-child rule, is now watching its population fall. The reasons are well known: money stress, high costs, women having more choices, and changing values. The strange thing? The more developed and educated a society becomes, the fewer children it has. Japan is simply the first to deal with the consequences head-on. The winter of low births is coming for all of us. Japan is the warning and the test case. Things look tough, but maybe this isn't just an end. Problems force change. Japan could use this moment to rethink work, family, and what makes a good life. Companies might finally let people have a better work-life balance. Men could help more at home. Country areas might come alive again with new ideas and communities. Immigration could open Japan to the world. New inventions, especially in robots, could help everyone. The story of Japan's birth problem is a story about all of us. What happens when society outgrows its old rules? The future might look empty, but empty spaces can be filled with bravery, new ideas, and something fresh. Japan's next chapter isn't written yet. The world is watching.